Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Monday. I'm Mike. She's Wendy, and you are in the marriage shop again. And it feels like, man, I don't know what it's crazy. It feels like the time it's like standing still and racing by all at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so it's another Monday.
What's up?
You're here. We're here too. Byron Jackson, Ron Harvey, and I said it was one more. Who did I
Robert
say it was?
Harrell.
Robert Harrell. Thanks for being here. I think Robert might have dropped off, but thank you for being here when you were here.
You'll be back. You'll be back.
It's all good.
Right.
It is Monday. We're in Evans. The weather is amazing, and
That says what up? What up? What up? Anyway,
all right.
translate. Byron Jackson. What's up, man?
Thanks for that. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
back again.
Yeah. You mentioned
Standing still and racing fast at the same time.
that fall weather is quite amazing, I must say.
It is. It's very nice. It's cool in the mornings and evenings and warm, I guess. I mean, it's borderline hot. It's
It
a
is.
little
I mean,
crazy
well,
here.
we're still there. There's about a 30 right now, 30 to 40-degree swing
that's true.
from nighttime to daytime. So it's kind of like living in the desert.
Yeah, it's going to be about 40 degrees again tonight.
About 40 degrees. You mean 40? Not 40. I mean, it's almost freezing. It can't be that cold, can
In
it?
the 40s.
In the 40s. I think, but like 40 versus like 46, 7, like that's a night and day difference. 40 degrees, it's wintertime.
No, tomorrow it'll be 48. It gets down to 41 on Thursday.
No way. It's
And the
wintertime.
high on Thursday is 65.
Break out your mink coats, people.
I need to switch
Firewood.
out my
Oh,
fall
no,
clothes
not
for
the-
my summer clothes.
Not the clothing
It's
switch.
67 degrees right now in Evans.
Not the clothing switch.
Yeah.
Anything but the clothing switch.
Anyway,
Does anybody else have to do the clothing switch? Does any, does anybody else have to do the clothing switch? I'm just curious. It's not what we're talking about tonight, even though it could be. But does anyone else have to kind of go and take out the winter clothes, put them out, and bring in summer, and then take the summer out and bring in the winter? Is anybody else in that relentless, never-ending cycle? I'm just curious.
yeah, I mean, it's a blessing to be able to change out my wardrobe. That's all I say.
Yeah.
But the temperature here is just, it's not as seasonal as where we came from. So like in Maryland, in the Northeast, is that considered Northeast?
What,
or just
Maryland?
East?
I think you could reasonably argue that Maryland is Northeast.
It always has been for me. Hey,
So
Tammy.
Tammy
See?
did that last night.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
Tammy, thank you.
Yeah, but in Maryland, it was quite seasonal. I mean, we had like definitive seasons, and you could kind of set your watch by how the seasons changed. And here, it's just always kind of a mix mash. It's like an albatross landing. when we go into the next. It's like, oh, I think it's still summer. No, it's fall. No, okay, a couple of days in winter. No, bees.
So is that why it feels like it's like we're on spring, summer for like ever, and then it's like winter clothes, and then the winter clothes out for 2 weeks,
literally.
And then it's like, hey, can you get that container? I'm like, why?
Time to change that again.
So,
well,
anyway.
I absolutely love boots, and this year, you know, it was really kind of my breakout year to wear boots before the wintertime. I never wore boots like with a dress or boots. Well, okay, so yes, dress boots with like skirts.
Okay.
But like a short dress with some short boots. It's just, you know, I've never done it. But I love boots so much. I could wear boots year round.
You did that in Kansas City last week?
I did.
Hey,
I wore some little boots.
That look. That was all right.
Well, thank you.
Hey, I approve.
Thank you. I'll do that again.
Okay.
Yeah, I love boots. I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I would wear boots with shorts. I mean, unless it was like an event. And I was dressed up or something. But anyway, so
we'll have to find an event.
Hopefully you guys have made it through the storm, or the storm never touched where you are. We have made it through the storm. Augusta is digging itself out. The Augusta area is digging itself out. All of the trucks, most of the trucks that we see now are debris removal, even though there's still some people without internet and without power. So when you get your internet and power back, check us out and check out our videos.
You know
here
what?
in the marriage shop.
Listen, when you do, and we're not here to promote anybody's particular internet service, because they're not cutting any checks. However, I'll say, I mean, some of these internet outages, it's like, man, it's like, wow, like
it's still been out.
like, wow.
Anyway.
Don't do it,
That's
man.
Funny.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about being grateful last week.
Yeah.
As we came through the storm, virtually unscathed, except for power and some other things. But and so this week we're talking about something that, you know, may be near and dear to some of you, but definitely is a familiar thing with us. And I would just start by saying that is one of the challenges that we have, because I ask Mike if I can help him, I know at least twice a day, if not twice, if not 3 times a day. And he never, I won't say never. Rarely does he say, yes, I need your help. Typically
my response is, with what?
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is that you're doing, like if you're doing something, if you're bringing stuff in, whatever it is an activity that I see you and I assess the situation and I think, okay, you know what? I can help you with that.
I find that interesting.
I'm sure.
So interesting because there are oftentimes, there are times when, and I think this may even represent the majority of the times. Like, I don't know how many times a day, I can't really count it, but certainly within a month, I don't know, there's a ton of situations where I get help and I didn't even know I needed it.
Okay. So you didn't know you needed it, or are you saying you wouldn't have asked for it?
Yes.
Okay, say more.
I'm like, man, it's like I didn't even know I needed help with that, or I absolutely did not need help with that, or stuff like that. So
yes. Well, I mean, but here's the thing where I believe I am most helpful, because I remember stuff if I've seen it.
Yes.
And so when you start looking for something, you'll look for like, I don't know, 15 minutes. And I see you looking and I'm like, what are you looking for?
Yes.
And almost every time I can tell you where the thing is.
Debatable. Okay.
But
yeah.
You don't come to me first and say, have you seen, or where is, or whatever.
Yes.
to stave off the search.
Correct. There's a reason for that.
Okay. And that is?
Well, I mean, in part because I don't think sometimes it's not all about just stave off the search, find the thing, right? Sometimes it's about finding it. It's kind of like doing, I don't know, you like to do those brain teaser exercises on your phone. Yeah.
Word search.
Word searches. And so somebody could just give you the word. Is it, would you want that? Just give me the word.
I mean, it depends if I can't find it.
So what's the point of doing the word search? If somebody gives you the word, right? There is some benefit in the process.
Which you have said, because I've asked you this question, like, okay, look, I could save you a whole lot of time and a whole lot of effort. And you're like, no, you want to use your brain and go through the process.
Yeah, like.
And then ask me.
Correct. Because sometimes it's just like you kind of go back, you walk through it like, okay, what makes sense? What have I done here? Where's the flaw in my routine? Do I need to create a routine? Whatever, right? But it's sometimes you go back and it's like, okay, oh, bam, there it is. If you had said, hey, boom, it's right there. Or here it is, I'm holding it, right? I mean, that's you get the thing, right? But I think that there potentially there's a benefit in having to just find the dang on thing. And sometimes I'm telling myself, if Wendy wasn't here right now, right, you have to find this, right? So figure it out. And I mean, are we being really real about this? Like in present day, we about what, 50-50? 40-60?
It just depends. I mean, if it's something that's yours that belongs to you and you put it somewhere, then I probably have no idea. But
that's like most things.
No, it's not most things. If it's something else,
like,
I mean, anything, a household thing, anything else, then I generally know where it is. But I mean, you're right. So, my memory is not what it was. However, the bottom line is I could cut your time, if not in half, like by 75%, and help you get to whatever it is that you're trying to find faster. But you're reluctant to receive help.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm reluctant to receive help. I would say that I just don't necessarily need to push that button or pull that trigger all the time, right? I think what happens, and with you, and I think it's not uncommon. I think as we watch this something happen that we perceive as struggle, it's like, well, I don't want you to struggle that way, so I'm just gonna, boom, I'm gonna give you the answer, right? And therefore, struggle in, boom, problem solved, right? However, it ain't about. It's kind of like when we talk about communicating, and it's like people will often say that men have a tendency to want to solve the problem, right?
Fix it.
And what are we often told about that?
I don't know.
I don't need you to fix it.
It
you don't know? She don't know now, y'all.
It depends. I mean, you're saying, what do wives often say? I mean, sometimes it's like, if I'm telling you something, maybe I'm just venting, or I need you to hear me out. I don't need you to go into fix it mode. So yeah, that is common. Yeah. But I mean, just in general, though.
But in general, if I'm not asking, I might not be at a point where I'm looking for help right now. That's all.
Yeah, but you rarely ask for help, but you sometimes need it.
And sometimes I ask for it, and sometimes I don't need it.
And you get it.
And I get it. It's kind of like, there's a comedian, Tim Hawkins, and he does a lot of stuff on marriages.
He does.
And so he's been doing it for years. There's an older video that he has out there. And I think some people every now and then he'll kind of pop up and people begin to pick up on some of the things, but a lot of this stuff is timeless. So we're going to go ahead. You want to go ahead and run that?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to run this video right now. And we'd love to.
Yeah, you may have seen this already, but I think this is spot on.
I think so. It's interesting that you think it's spot on. Okay. I don't know if any of you think it's spot on as well. Hold tight.
I love marriage. Marriage, yeah, is awesome. It's so beneficial.
Oh, that's scripture, y'all. Hold on. Let's see. Let's grab this one. We'll stop sharing that. All right, here we go.
So many benefits for a guy when you get married. Like when you get married, you're a guy, you get a little helper in the car. I love my little helper in the car. She knows everything about driving. It's very convenient for me. But sometimes I get confused. See, I don't know how I get anywhere without my helper in the car. I'd probably be bouncing off trees and buildings and stuff, but she's there to help. Like, she tells me when the light changes colors and everything. It's very convenient and helpful. Like, it's green. Thank you, Albert. Because I was confused. I didn't know. Thanks, Captain Prism.
So, I mean,
Hey, Rex, Tony.
Rex, what's up? So, yeah, I thought that was quite hilarious. Now, in full disclosure, sometimes, you know what, I need that because I'm on my phone and I'm busy. I need somebody to watch the light, but outside of those times, lights green, are you on the turn? Don't you think you need to be in the right lane? So many things.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of things. So I don't know. I would love to know if you guys have that same experience. I mean, whether you're the wife or the husband, do you have a little helper in the car when you're driving, or a helper anywhere? So yeah, I thought I think it's spot on. I mean, and it's true, and I can't help myself, but it's just like automatic. And it seems like the longer we're married, the more what's the word? The more necessary it is. I don't know. But I will say, oh, okay.
Linda
so Ron
says she is the co-pilot. That's so funny. So the whole idea of co-pilot came up today. I think that was your word.
That was my word.
Right.
That was my word. And so, Linda, is it kind of like the video we showed, or is it a little different? Like, is it about directions? Oh, look. Yes, I just pull over and let her drive. Thanks for that,
Rex. Look.
Because that's what you get. Do you want to drive? Once you get to a certain point, it's like, do you want to drive?
It's so interesting. Like, it's like, I get it. And how do you do it? It's like question form, right? And at least my interpretation is when it will say something like, I thought you might have turned right there at on Elm Street. And I'm like, no, I don't know why you would have thought that.
Right. And we had this conversation just the other day.
Yeah.
So, Tammy, I don't know the answer for you guys. What is the answer for you?
I'm curious.
I don't know if this is Ron or Linda, but it says it's kind of like the video. And then Ron says, it's Linda. Ron says, do you want to drive? And I stop, LOL. That is kind of the cut point. It's kind of like you can go, you can say whatever, you can make recommendations. You can say the light is green. You can say, aren't you going to be turning right? Because at the last second, it's like, no, I'm just going to drive over here 3 lanes away from the right turn, all the way up to 15 feet before the turn.
You know my process.
And then, so it reaches a point. And then at that point, do you want to drive, or would you like to drive, or whatever? It just kind of shuts it
You
down.
are more than welcome to drive. It is like, it's an open door. It's an invitation.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, because it's not that I want to drive, because I prefer not to drive. It's just that because I do drive, I am thinking while you're driving. right? So it's not like if you
Oh,
were,
wait a minute.
if you were doing something that I've never done or I didn't know how to do it, then I would just be quiet. I would just be sitting there just riding.
Wait a minute. Wait, you're stacking the deck too high right now.
I'm just
First
saying.
of all, what you just said, no, that is absolutely not. You said, wait a minute. Let me. First of all, you said the last thing you said is if it was something that you weren't familiar with, you wouldn't have anything to say on it.
If I didn't know how to do it, that's what I said. Yeah, driving, I know how to do. I know how to drive. I know where we're going, all that stuff. Anyway,
that is so
Rex Tony
funny.
says, my wife asked, are we driving by Braille?
That's hilarious. Listen, that's funny. Y'all, do we believe for a second? I mean, you know what? Let me ask it this way.
Yes.
Well, I won't ask. I'll just say it. I mean, come on, man. Like, do we believe that you allow something, some small hurdle as not necessarily knowing what the thing is to stop you from having an opinion?
I didn't say I don't have an opinion on things. I'm talking specifically about you driving. So say we're going like the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so there, and I share with you sometimes my thought processes, right? Certain parts on the road, it's like, okay, I know that when you get past Mullins Crossing, for example, and those of you in the area know what I'm talking about, you're on Washington Road. I know that as you approach Lowe's, it's better to be, before you get to Taco Bell, it's better to be in the left lane. Because for whatever reason, that right lane is slow. And it's not necessarily because people turn off. It's just they're slow or they're merging in from Riverwatch. So I rarely ride in that right lane.
Okay.
I ride in the left lane. So I know my approach to it. So then when I'm riding with you and we're in the right lane and we're stuck or somebody does something crazy, I'm like, I wouldn't have been in the right lane. That's all. So that's what it is. I'm like, or I would have gone this other way because it's probably less traffic or whatever. We each have our own way of doing it. So it is challenging to sit there and let you do it in ways that I don't do it. That's just the truth. So Byron Jackson says some people are quiet, some lend a hand, some are instructional, and some are ultra instructional. Some are controlling. I think you covered it all.
Just took us on that progression right there.
Yes. Which are you?
So yeah, I mean, I think that. So see, part of the issue, and this is where the difference in the way that people kind of do things comes in, because I am very much. And this is the way I drive, and pretty much the way I work and live. It's all about the flow. And so I'll take some chances and I'll do some things in real time based on whatever I'm looking at versus what I always do. I may be inclined, typically we're going straight, but you know what, today, I'm feeling left. I'm going left. And there's a few reasons why. Maybe I'm looking forward or whatever. Or maybe I'll back up on that, back up in reverse on that car ramp when I discover that, hey, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. Nobody's going anywhere. We can't stay here. So maybe I might violate what is a rule from time to time based on the context. Right. And so it's like, if the police come get me, I have matter of fact, I have a reasonable, whatever explanation for why I'm doing what I'm doing most of the time. But that whole violating the law thing, that's just very extenuating circumstances. Right. People in Atlanta like, whatever. It's like Tuesday, but generally I'm just flowing with whatever, right? And so, sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. But it's observing. That's funny, observing. Is that what we calling it now?
What are you talking about?
Now, when you said you just kind of take it, you're observing when we're riding along. But I'm just saying this. It's like, it just always don't require instruction or whatever. And sometimes you get it, but it's like, but I think you realize that sometimes I'm just like, I'm not necessarily, I mean, if I'm being real, I'm just not necessarily open all the time. It's like, no, I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I think that the way that it's communicated has shifted from just a direct thing to more of a question thing. You know what? Yeah, I thought you might want to do this. I'm like, nah, not really. No, I didn't really want to do that. You know what I mean? So, but because I'm already kind of, it's kind of one of those things where I've taken in so many data points, like, and it's like, so I'm just not out here just doing, you know what I mean? It's like all that movement, that flow is based on data.
Yeah. Well, I think, can you scroll down? I think that, I mean, we're talking about driving, but I think that this could apply to a number of things. You know, driving in the car is something that is, it's easy to look at. I mean, and we're in the marriage shop, and when we talk about, and we use analogies with fixing your car and fixing things and all those things, the thing about driving is, you know, again, as we're going along, right, and I'm thinking about what I would do in that situation, I think that's just like any other situation that we come up on, right? If something has to be done, something needs to be said, whatever, a decision has to be made. I'm formulating my thoughts, the decision I would make or whatever, and as well as you, right? And so it's not a question of whether or not I think I'm right or that I think you're wrong, but I think that our voices have equal power. You know what I'm saying? So
Maybe.
well, I'm saying, I mean, I just think that if there's something that I could share with you that would benefit you, then I'm going to say it, right? Even if it is unwarranted.
Okay.
That's all.
I mean, but if it's unwarranted.
Right.
Say more.
Because, you know, sometimes it's like, you know, did I ask you? Or, I mean, that's not what you say, but it's kind of like, I don't need no help. I mean, I've been doing this. I'm a grown man. I know how to drive.
Come on.
I know, right. You don't say that,
That's not,
but it's kind of.
It's not my posture.
Right. But it's kind of the response could be captured in that way. Right.
Nah.
So I'm giving words to maybe what other people are saying.
No,
right?
but you said me, so you get words what I'm saying. So I'm saying that is my posture is not I'm a grown man. My posture is like I've been considering this for a long time. That is not I'm a grown man. It's different. Different.
Yes, being better, Ron Harvey or Linda says, being better at asking for help from your helpmate as a man is not as natural as it seems.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of the point, right? It's kind of the point. I mean, God purposed us, wives, to be helpers. That's yes. That is it. We have been purposed to be helpers. And so it's difficult when we try to help. And it's just like, I don't need no help. Like, I never need help.
Yeah, I think what probably makes it, well, let me put it like this. I'm sitting here thinking, well, what would make it less challenging, right? And I think part of what makes it challenging is the absence of questions, right? Because there's a couple ways this thing tends to go, right? Mm-hmm. Boom, here's some help for you. And it's like, man, I don't need no help. Or the question could be, hey, you need help? And the answer, no. Nah. Mm-hmm. Right? And so oftentimes I think the default then goes to, you know what, here, you about to get this help, whether you want it or not, whether you can decide whether you take it or not, right? Mm-hmm. But I do believe that oftentimes and if I again kind of apply it to that same thing that we talk about with regard to oftentimes us just wanting to kind of come in and fix it. I have an answer for you. Uh-huh. So you got problem, I got answer, right? And a lot of times you don't want my answer because we fail to ask questions, like real questions, you know, like figure out what's going on. And like, you know, to use a very simple example, like if I'm looking for, you know, those socks I just had in my hand, and I know I have an ADHD issue or whatever, right? I know I got some attentional issues. And so I know I had these socks 5 minutes ago. I'm fixing to find these socks because I got to work through this thing, right? So if I'm looking for them and you just like, boom, here's sock. It's like, well, okay, maybe I say, what are you looking for? Socks. I'm like, you want me to help you? No, I'm good. right? Are you sure? Right? Yeah, nah, because I need to do this, right? Sometimes it's just about a little bit of a dialogue versus boom, I got an answer for you. And you're being I don't think it's always being resistant. Even though I do think that sometimes just ironically enough, a fast I got the answer for you will oftentimes generate some resistance,
Yeah.
right? Because
For sure.
it's like I have an answer, which means oftentimes I think you accelerate past whatever work has been done or is being done, right? I think that might be the issue for a lot of cats.
I mean, I don't know about a lot of cats. I just know that it is challenging for many people to accept help from anyone, but specifically from their spouse, right? And asking for help is something altogether different. So I don't, if or when you ask for help, then the help is there, right? It is the absence, it's the omission of asking for help or admitting that you need help with something. That's where it becomes kind of murky, right? And so if I'm looking at you and, okay, so you got something heavy, right? And it's just us.
Yes.
And I know you kind of have an engineering mind and you will go through and you'll figure out all of the ways to safely get item A to point B.
Yes.
But you still need help. And I'm like, well, I can help you. And you're like, nah.
No. Yeah, no, that's
not with this.
Yeah, exactly. They ain't got to do with pride. That's everything to do with you.
I didn't say anything to do with pride.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, ultimately, that's what we're talking about, right? And
No.
so, yeah, that's what I mean. That's kind of that's at the root of a lot of this is pride.
Oh.
So that's what we're talking about. So
is that what we're talking about?
yeah, but
I thought we were talking about communication.
yeah,
Huh.
perhaps we are. But one of the things I think hampers communication in this instance is pride.
Okay, say more.
All right, and
Say
so
more.
and then because in that particular instance, if we're talking about moving a heavy object and you're like, I can help you, right? Well, how that help comes along, again, I'm kind of thinking about, okay, if she can't help, how can she? Like with like that generator, for example, right?
Yeah.
It was, okay, I can I can attach something to this so that she can at least direct it as it slides off the truck. She can push left to push right. But lifting and tugging on a 300-pound generator is just not going to happen.
Right.
Period. And because I know that, we got how many surgeries have we combined between us? How many surgeries have we had? Right.
That is another thing, right? I mean, knowing I'm not going to push beyond my limits, even if I have.
Yeah, but
in most cases, I'm not going to push beyond my limits. But speaking of the generator, I said, I can help you because that thing was really heavy.
Right.
I said,
And I'm like, back up.
I will push while you pull. You remember that? So he was like, all right, fine. Well, whenever I push with whatever we're doing, I mean, I'm pushing. I'm not going to say I'm strong, but so I was pushing. I was pushing with the right amount of strength. And
no,
then you were like,
you were
stop.
pushing with all the. I'm like, okay.
You said, stop. I stopped. You fell back in the truck.
I'm sitting there with a generator in my lap.
And you were like, I said stop. I said, and I stopped.
Oh, gracious. So it's all or nothing with you, man.
It's not.
Oh.
Here's the thing. When we do things together, so when, for those few times when I see that you might need help and I offer help and you say, okay, give me a minute or whatever, you figure out how I can help you. And then I help you. It's always, always easier and faster when we do it together.
Debatable. But
Oh, Pastor Shepherd,
But
when
it works.
helping hurts.
Helping can hurt. Oh, help it can hurt.
You fell right on your butt. That was funny. I couldn't do anything but laugh. It was just like, boop.
Yes.
So Byron Jackson, some help is great. Two is greater than one. But sometimes spouses don't like the hovering, mothering, fathering, and just want a little space. Judgmental if you make a mistake, avoiding the I told you so. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. I like the context that you put that in. I think that's good because, we talk about being better together. We talk about two being better than one. But then we set conditions, right? It's like, two might be better than one, but in this case, it only takes one.
Sometimes it really it really only, but the what BJ said is it's consistent with the word. It's Ecclesiastes
Yes.
4.
Yes.
Verse 9 through 12.
This is the return for your word.
Yeah, two
yes.
are better than one, for they receive a
greater
good return for their labor.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, here's the funny part as with regard to scripture, because it goes on to say, if either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But
That's
pity
right.
anyone who falls and has no one to help them up.
Exactly.
Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken.
Yes.
So what this basically says to me is that your spouse is like your ride or die with the Lord. Right? Because as men, though, this idea that we are we're leaders and we're supposed to be strong, we're protectors and providers and all that, we often equate that to I gotta do it all. Right? And so this idea, it is ever present, particularly as I kind of as I go into my 50s, this idea is ever present of pity anyone who falls down and has no one to help them up. Right? It's like, if you look at older couples, some senior couples and everything, and you kind of look how that thing goes, a lot of times, like, not only can you not lift it, you can't stand yourself and you need somebody to help you up. But what about those times when that's what you need in a sense that's not physical? Right? Like emotionally, psychologically, just in your life, as you go through things, as you go through all the things that life is going to throw at you.
Yes.
This idea that I have to do it by myself has actually taken a lot of brothers out.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Ron Harvey said men are raised with the belief that we should be strong, independent, self-reliant, protective. Masculinity is about providing and protecting rather than receiving help or support. Men don't like letting go of control. We got this, ladies.
Yeah, you got this. Go on, sit down, be cute. I've literally said, sit down, be pretty.
Yeah.
I got this one. Right.
But here's the thing: when two people come together, when you marry an independent woman, right? When that husband marries a woman who is a strong, intelligent, stubborn, independent woman, right? Who has, in her own right, lived on her own, done things on her own, made it that far in life, like at the point that we met.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, well, there are many things that I can do for myself, but now I don't have to do a lot of those things for myself, right? But it still took me years to just kind of yield some things. Now, I mean, even today, there was a spider, and I was this close to waking you up to kill the spider. And I'm like, I should let him sleep. So I got some Lysol and I sprayed it and then I stepped on it. I had to slow it down first with something. And then I stepped on it. Oh, man. Because I'm like, man, I don't know if it was a wolf spider or a brown recluse. It was big and it had 2 stripes. I didn't even get close enough. But it was on the curtain. I was moving the curtain. And when I saw it, I was like, whoa. And I threw the curtain and it fell on Dallas. And I was like, oh no, Dallas, move. But my whole point is there are a lot of things I could do. Like you would go out of town and I would like redo a whole room when you left. Cause I'm like, well, I mean, he ain't here. I can move stuff.
Big stuff. Just like
I can move furniture. I can paint. I can do all kinds of things. So I would do them when you're not home. So we've both evolved over time. And so now I'm quick to be like, okay, you know what? This is a job for Mike. This is not a job for me. Sure, I could do it, but should I do it? And now I don't have to do it anymore because God blessed me with you. So I don't have to get a step stool to reach something. I can just ask you to get it, for example. However, I often say to you, hey, if something is down low, I can get it. And you're just like, nope, I got it. And then it's all, and I'm like, could have got that for you. Oh my goodness. Hey, Shelly, so glad you're here. She says, OMG, that is the tactic that I use with bugs. Great minds.
Yeah, bugs are, I mean, and some bugs, I'm just like, okay, I mean, for real.
Yeah.
But you know, put me on. I remember the time we had I think it was a wasp. I think it was COVID. We had a wasp or two in the kitchen. That was a whole scene right there. But send me in for the hard stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody sleeps. Nothing rests in this house until it is gone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
but
the snake,
unequivocally, I ask you for help more than you ask me for help.
Yeah.
I offer help to you. I wouldn't say I offer help to you more often than you offer me help.
I would say you do.
Yeah, I guess
because you offer help. I mean, in some things it's just like, man,
it's just who
I don't.
am. That's how
I don't
say,
know.
It's just that's how I am. I'm a helper.
It's just. I mean, it's just like some things that even if I wanted help, I like how I don't. I think this is just kind of done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I think you do. You ask that question far more, for sure.
I do. No matter how many times I get rejected. So here's the thing.
But whoa.
The help is
rejection.
It is rejection.
Well, I mean, it's if I'm like if I have this remote and I'm turning the television and you say, hey, do you need help turning the television? Actually, no, I got it. Like I got the remote, but I mean, there's some things that are on that level. It's just like some things don't require. You're saying everything you ask. Stop.
Yes.
No, that is not that. No, please. Like
it is true.
Help? How? With what? Like
the next time it happens, I'll let you know.
I can tell you the last time.
What?
you asked if I needed help finding the video. I'm like, no, I got it.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got it. It's like right here. So
yeah.
Is that rejection?
No.
Right.
No, so that's a little different. It's a little different context. It's not pretty much the same. Okay. It's different. But you said this is the issue of pride, and I said I thought we were talking about communication, and I think that it's a little bit of both, right? I think that how we communicate our needs, our desires, what we need help with, is as important as, really how we view going through the process of asking for help or receiving help is.
Say more.
Well, I mean, if you're thinking, not saying that you're thinking, but if you're thinking this is something I should be able to do, I don't need any help, and if she asks me if I need some help, I'm just gonna say no, right? But it turns out that it's not something that's easy to do, and you actually could use the help.
Well, let me help you a little bit right now. So, like the thought progression that you just went through, that's not like how a man thinks.
Okay.
This is the whole thought process. I'm gonna roll up what you just. Okay. I got it. I mean, that's it. That's not it. There is no premeditation about if she asked. It's none of that. It's like, yes. I got it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Sometimes you don't got it.
Well, that's not the relevant part. The relevant part is like, so the question I think we should be asking ourselves is why is it more often like, because sometimes I got it means I got it and it's hard, but just because it's hard doesn't mean that you have to like alleviate, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes some things are just hard. And so it's not about eliminating that part of it. It's just like, it's going to be hard and I'm going to do it because it needs to be done.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Sometimes it's hard and you're at a place and these days I think I've gotten a lot more accepting of getting to that place where, okay, this is going to be impossible to do alone. And trust me, if I can do it by myself, I can figure out how to do it alone. And so when I get to that point where, you know what, this is probably a bit much. Once I get to that point, I often recognize if it's a bit much for me by myself, it'd probably be very hard for the two of us, right? So if Wendy, if it's us, and sometimes you're in a position where it's just like, it's us. We out there.
We all we got.
We all we got. C and B. And so it's like, okay, how can I do this in a way where it's not going to kill us and it's not going to hurt Wendy, right? But I do think my way through all of that before I will readily ask for help for things that are difficult. But I'm not trying to avoid the difficulty. So I'll take a bit more time oftentimes, and try to figure it out before I ask for help. That's just the truth of it, right? So, like, I was thinking the whole way home with the generator, the whole way home after the craziness that was me and my brother-in-law trying to get it out of that Chevy Malibu. Out of the front seat of a Chevy Malibu. I don't know how he got it in there, but got that thing in the truck. I'm like, okay, how are we gonna do this when we get home? He said, Mike, why don't you want to accept the help? She wants to be your helpmate, right? Because I don't want to hurt her feet, her back, or anything else, right? But it's just like the default mode. It's like it's truly just a default, like boom, got it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's taken me years to recognize that default that it kicks in. And I will try, when I don't actually need help, the default mode is always I got it, right? That's the reflex reaction. And I will try to slow my reaction to not, hey, I got it, but how can she help, right? Or sometimes I even ask, like, if it's something that I believe, like, this ain't even a pride thing. It's just like, this is really on the help. Sometimes I often ask, like, well, how?
No, that's true.
What does help look like? I don't even know.
Yes. And I think that's fair. With 2 points. So it brings me great joy when you and your father go on your fishing trip every year because you express that he won't accept help.
This brother here, it's wild, man.
And my response is, the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
I'm not trying to hear that.
But to hear you express it, that's all I'm going to say, because it's a family show. To hear you, the emotion behind it, it's like, huh. And that's all I say, like, you don't say.
It ain't even, it's not the same. It's not the same.
Oh,
listen, my dad, we would go, it's pretty wild. Like, we'll go to get gas or get something to eat or whatever. And I will see him beginning to plot. It's weird. He starts digging for his wallet. He'll start to drift toward wherever the payment is going to happen. I'm like, yo, Dad, what you doing? Leave me alone. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Bye. And then we're up there. We're like tussling.
Yep.
It's the strangest thing.
It is the strangest thing. But aside from that, I mean, so that brings me great joy because I'm like, now you see, this is what it's like living with you. This is it, and you only get it for a week. Yes, that's all I'm saying. But the other thing that you said, I think, is really important. I don't want to gloss over it. You said, but what about when you need help with other things, like emotional things, or what else did you say? You remember? Like if it's emotions, or what did you say?
No, just like life challenges, emotions, psychologically, just help getting through life. Yeah. I mean, we might all ask that question, might we?
What question?
Like, we just kind of go all independent, go rogue and just like, I got it. Right. So, I
mean, admittedly, there are times, I mean, I am independent many times. When I'm mad at you, I'm very independent. I'm like extremely independent. It is true.
That's the first time I think it's ever been.
No, I've said it. I've acknowledged that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've never heard you say it. I've said it.
Oh, yeah. Man, it's like me against the world.
Yeah.
I got it. I got it.
Got my
you
door.
don't
I
need
got
to get
this
my door.
box.
You don't have to open the other door.
I'm gonna take the dogs outside. That one, sometimes I'm like, well,
I got it all.
okay.
Because that's what it is. The beauty of it is that there's no need to flex. There's no need on any given day for either of us. You don't actually have to do anything alone or on your own unless you choose to, right? But we have to be careful about receiving help or denying help. I say rejecting, but denying it, right? I think it is important to understand the other person's heart. Perhaps the person that you married or you're in a long-term committed relationship with, perhaps their love language is acts of service or, I'll just choose that one, right? And they want to help. It's like they feel like they're failing you in some way or they're not living up to expectations if they're not able to get in there and help you and, put their hands to it to reaffirm and to, really kind of validate for you that I'm in this, right? I am your ride or die. So in understanding that, you really have to change the way that you communicate with your person. But it starts with knowing your person. So I just use that as an example because I know we talk about the 5 love languages all the time. But that just stands out to me because if the person is constantly availing themselves, right? Let me help you with that, or I can help you with this, or whatever. Let me do it. And it's always met with a no, I got it. Then there's going to be a point in which either that person's going to stop asking, or when you really need it, they're going to be apathetic.
Perhaps.
So you have to be careful with that. Just some things to consider. And as you learn to communicate better, as you continue to be a student of your spouse, as you consider these things, there's more to it than just the words that are said at any given moment, right? There's more to it than, the light just turned green. Or I thought you were going to go this way. And so when you stopped and you asked me, well, when you ask me those questions, are you saying that's what you would have done? Or what are you saying? I'm like, what?
It's just like, you be like, man, I thought you were gonna blah blah. And I'm like, why?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So if I think that there's something that I could offer it that would help you, enlighten you, would take less time, would be more effective, or is better, then I'm going to offer it, right? It's not always my way is better, but I'm going to offer it because my goal is to be here for you so that you don't have to work so hard all the time.
Maybe. Because I think sometimes it seems like your goal is just to alleviate that frustration or that angst that you might have, because it's just like, I don't understand why we're doing it this way. I think we should do it that way.
But that's not what it is.
I think that's what you said earlier. I think we might want to roll the tape back. I think you said that. But
No.
and I think that experience suggests that it's just like, I can't help it. I got it. Right. But I think it's important to understand, like, if help is being offered, I think it is important to like be able to understand what that help really is.
Yes.
Right.
Or
like
what's being offered.
What's it about? Is it about creating a better situation for us? Is it about like, relieving this tension I have because I just gotta do it. We need to do it this way. Because I think a lot of times it's like, it's not even that something gets done. It's like the how that can be frustrating for people, right? And so I think it's really important to understand kind of where the offer of help is coming from, right? Like really at a heart level. In the same way, I think it's important to be able to understand if there's resistance to receiving help, what's that resistance about? I mean, what's it really about? Is it that you don't want to be told what to do? You feel like you're being told what to do. You feel like you're being, intruded upon, right? Or you feel like, hey, I got to do it. I got it. I'm supposed to have it. Like, what's the resistance about? I want to read this verse again, and I want to offer you a slightly different take on this.
Okay.
Right. So this is again, it's Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 through 12. This is NIV, the NIV version.
Mm-hmm.
Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. It's very interesting. If you have hypothermia, right, you're losing body heat.
Mm-hmm.
You lose the ability for your body to generate heat, right? And the body, that's what it does. It's constantly generating heat, but you reach this tipping point where you can't produce it on your own. And what this verse is telling us from a physical standpoint, another person, right, can give you the heat required for you to survive. Right. And pride, oftentimes you say, I got it. My body, it'll do it. Well, sometimes it might not.
Nope.
Right. And you can't be warm on your own. That's from a physical standpoint. But think about it from a spiritual standpoint, because everything that we face in this life, every battle we face, right, is not physical. And it's a spiritual battle. Right. And the word says, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. Sometimes you need somebody not only helping you in a physical sense, you need somebody helping you. No, not sometimes, all the time. Mm-hmm. You need somebody helping you in a spiritual sense, praying for you, trying to cover you, right? Trying to create this environment where you can continue to grow spiritually and you all can connect together and connect with the Holy Spirit. That's that 3rd strand. Because if you can do that, that's not easily broken. And so if we reject this idea that 2 are better than 1, because I got it, we got to ask ourselves, what is at the root of that? Because the idea that I got it all the time, it's overtly like not biblical. It's antithetical to what the word says. So you probably didn't get that from God. You need to ask yourself where you got it from. And even if you got it from somebody that you love and somebody that you respect and you saw this and that and whatever growing up, it doesn't matter. Right? The word says what it says.
The word says
and the word is
what
true.
it says, and the word is true. And, while some people may be a little overzealous in how much they want to help or how they want to help, the truth is we are designed that way. We are designed to help each other. Wives are designed and we're created for that purpose, to be a helpmate, to help even when there's no request for help. So ladies, just be ready.
Listen.
Whether the answer is always no or the answer is always I got it, just be ready, stand by. Perhaps what you're being called to do in that moment is to pray for your husband. Perhaps what you're being called to do in that moment is to have a deeper understanding of what it is that he needs or what he sees at that time. Or perhaps it's just not something that you need to do or that you don't do well. I mean, so not all help is good help. Even when you have a good heart.
So sometimes I just need you to stand over there. But listen, but I try to, and I encourage you to, when that question comes, can I help you? Try to find, there's often a way, right? And this is a very simple example. So it's, forgive me if it's oversimplified, but when we're carrying groceries into the house, I anticipate that question is going to come. And so I'm already like identifying several bags that I may give her, because the truth is, if I give Winnie those bags, then we'll maybe get in the house in 1 or 2 trips versus 4 or 5. Yeah. Right. And so it's like, here, I'll give you these. I'm not going to give you the milk and the watermelons. Right. And so, And so Shelley said something to think about. Would you prefer a wife that doesn't offer to help or just sits by while you struggle? Yeah. I think not, in fact. And I think that the funny thing is, pride is crazy, right? Because you'll be like, I don't need help. But if you struggle, and you always struggling, next thing you know, your back hurt, you limping around, and you're still struggling, and you're like, man, you always just watch me struggle.
Yeah,
perhaps. Yeah. And in fact, I've actually, we've seen that happen in a couple of instances.
We have,
right?
We have.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and the other part of that too is, when you think about other things like raising children or finances, the other factors where help is required, and help is offered, help is required. Again, the mechanisms of communicating, right? Really kind of confronting where the resistance comes from, as you said, or the desire comes from to help, and then figuring out a way that you can have solid communication around when I have a need and your desire to fulfill that need or to help with that need. That's what it's about. So we're not giving you answers like this is what you do. We're prompting you with another conversation. How do you approach it? How do you approach it differently going forward? Are you both in a place where you're understanding help and the need for help, the request and the denial of help, all of those things? It's always a little bit deeper than just, I got it.
I mean,
that's it. We've been talking.
So you say long. Always. I mean, sometimes it's just like, I got it. I'm good. Oh, it's 8. What time is it?
It's past time.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Gotta go.
All right, we gotta go. So, y'all take the help. Even though sometimes help is not required. If you're on that road, sometimes I'm just gonna get in this right lane at the last minute. Let's pray, y'all.
It is what it is.
Heavenly Father, we come tonight just thank you for being God, and thank you for the assurance of your Holy Spirit, God, that was that's here to help us in our lives every day and to remind us of your word. And so we just ask that everyone here, God, that we just all lean into your Holy Spirit. We thank you, and we just pray for each family, each marriage. We just pray that our marriages be a shining example, God, of the love that you have for us shown here in human form on earth. So we thank you. We love you. We pray these and all blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. So be blessed. We'll see you all next Monday. Some of you may have been celebrating a holiday today, and kids are out of school and all of those good things. But we'll be back next Monday in the Marriage Shop, and who knows what we'll be talking about then. So until next week, have a blessed week.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's your boy, JC. I'm in the mood. Love, yeah. Lately I've been constantly thinking about you, babe. You drive me crazy, yeah. And girl, I want this. Got me all up in my feelings. Oh, what a feeling, yeah. I knew the first time I laid eyes on you that you would be here forever. I'm not being arrogant, and I still can't take my eyes off you. 'Cause you made me better, so much better. I'm in the mood to love you for a lifetime. I'm in the mood to love you for a lifetime. Yeah. I love your kindness, I love your confidence. Ooh, you're the finest. So glad you're mine, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't wanna be with nobody else. Give me your love, that's all the wealth I need. Baby, you're priceless to me, yeah. To love you for a lifetime. I'm in the Won't you come and hold me down? I just got a new coupe, yeah, I know I got a roof, but I always keep it down with you, yeah. And I know they see you, girl, you're my queen, and beauty speaks for itself loud and clear, yeah. So throw it in the air. It's the sweetest sound to follow my ear. And I want the world to know I love you forever. And that's a long time, babe. But I got time for you, baby. I'm in the mood. Ooh, lifetime for a lifetime. I'm in the mood to love you, yeah. For a lifetime, baby. Ooh, yeah. For a lifetime, oh, for a lifetime.